Hi everybody. Welcome to another stream, and one of the things that I wanted to show, if somebody's watching the stream, I wanted to do it in the beginning because maybe you don't want to just browse through the entire video, is kind of taking a look at HLODs. HLODs, if you don't know what they do, there I believe the term for it is let's see, hierarchical. Come on. Hierarchical LOD. So what they do is, if we take a look at this right now, I have a couple of levels that are loaded in here. There's like the map, which is just the terrain area and vegetation, along with this small village section level. So if I hide this, you see that this is what's there. Now the if we take a look at the amount of draw calls that everything here produces, so let's take a look at that. You can just do stat RHI, and if you press G, it's just going to hide all the helpers, so that way you get a more accurate count. And we're looking at like 3,716, 3,700 draw calls. So what HLODs are supposed to do, they're supposed to help with that count, and especially in this case. Hey Gitish, how are you? I think I do. Welcome to the stream. I was just talking about HLODs, so welcome. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is if we hide this particular level, you'll see that only that one accounts for almost 1,000 draw calls. So let's take a look and see, where is that? Here. Yeah, so see, that's quite a lot. Now, what I want to do is actually I want to open this particular level and show you how I go about creating HLODs for this. Now, if we were to hit on lit and then go to hierarchical LODs, they're all green, so we want to decrease that by quite a lot. And especially when you look at the entire village, you'll see that this number is pretty big. Like if I was to hide this, now you can see a even bigger difference in this. So let's I'm gonna go ahead and open this one level, and I'll show you how I go about generating HLODs and decreasing this number and hopefully increasing some performance. So let's get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and open my level here, and it's this one here. Just gonna go ahead and save. Yeah, so that was one of the things that I've worked on this week, just some optimizations, and that's what I wanted to show. And also the other thing that I wanted to that I'm going to show is a lot of the assets that we're going to do the set dressing for. Some of the kind of the level design part of today's video is focused around credits. So, because I use a lot of Sketchfab assets, and I want to credit the authors in a proper way at the end of the game, and I wanted to do something that's dynamic, right? So, I'll show you what I ended up with, what the result was, and I'll next week I'll create a tutorial for it. So, either next week or in a couple of weeks, I'll create a tutorial for it. So, if anybody else has a use for that and they want to credit authors in an easy way, this is I'll show you what I ended up doing. Gitish, I do plan on transitioning to UE5 and actually moved my this project onto UE5, and I can actually show you what I ended up with. So if anybody's interested, I can show you how the transition happened. The only thing is, there's a lot of the plugins that I use have not been yet moved to 5.1, so the developers have not released them to 5.1 just yet. So but I wanted to see if there's anything major that breaks, and I didn't notice anything. So the transition was extremely smooth. I was really happy how it went, and I'll show you how everything looks. It looks quite amazing. So I'm pretty happy how everything behaves. But let's quickly do this. And somehow, for whatever reason, whenever I jump in between some of these games, especially if there's no lighting in here, it just like slows everything down to a crawl. And it's usually something related to my old computer. But I think what I can really do real quick, let's see. Trying to figure out a way to get these kind of FPS count a little higher, because it's a little dreadful. So usually it just works by adding kind of my lighting level in here. So let me do that real quick. Usually does. Alright, but anyways, this is gonna be pretty static, so I'm not too hung up on what the performance is. But let's take a look at the HLODs. So right now, you can go into, I believe it's under Window, and then Hierarchical LOD Outliner. And I'll show you some of the settings, because right off the bat the settings are a little bit different, like the default when you start up. So the first thing, when you create the HLODs, you only get HLOD LOD 0, so you would have to add the other LODs as well, and actually generate the HLOD for each ones. But the main thing that I was looking into is, by default, under the LOD cluster generation settings, the number, like the desired bound radius, is really big, like it's like 1,000 points or 1,000 units. So what that does, let me see if I can move this to the side. This is quite annoying here. Let me try opening it up again, because it's so frustrating that it runs so slowly. And this is one of the things that I was never able to find an explanation for, why sometimes the editor just works so badly. It's probably something on my end. See, like right now it's fine. So go figure. I have no idea why that happens. Alright, so let's take a look at this as a kind of a you know, the whole scene, the little village here. You know, there's going to be more added, but at least to start with this. So as I was saying, with the HLODs, when you first create these, they're usually set to 1,000. So what that means is that, let's take a look at one of these areas. If I can select it, there we go. So currently, what that means, you know, a huge radius is gonna comprise a lot more assets. And what I've noticed when that happens is, the HLODs don't work so well as decreasing the amount of draw calls. When you have a really big radius with these, you run into it can't, like, because what it ends up doing is it ends up kind of collapsing these meshes into something that's, you know, simpler. Sometimes it can merge the meshes and also merge materials. But if you have like a ton of them in there, I think it's a lot more difficult for that to happen. So what I ended up doing is, for HLOD 0, I've set my radius to 200. So, you know, therefore getting much smaller, you know, much smaller spheres for these actors. So right now I only have, you know, all these items in here. Imagine if this sphere was like 1,000, it would have like comprised the house and a bunch of other items that I don't really want in. So there we go. Now there's like, these are like much smaller. Let's see if I can select some other ones. Yeah, there you go. For example, this one. See, there's a lot less items in there that it can merge. So to me at least, this is kind of a setting that worked properly. And then as you go higher up in LODs, you know, like I had like 400 and then 600, and for 3 is 800. Now there's also you also have to take a look at the assets that are in there. Some of the assets that I've found is like, for example, these particular vines. I'm not sure why, but you'll see what I mean when I generate the proxy meshes. Uh, they're very aggressive on the LODing. So when I zoom out, they jump to like an LOD that just completely breaks it. So not sure why that, and only for this particular one is happening. So not sure why, but anyways. So once you've set the LOD levels, the next step of the process is to generate the clusters. Like I've already generated the clusters, so I'm not going to go through doing that. And so once you have that done, I'm going to go ahead and generate proxy meshes. So this might take a little bit because there's like you know, quite a few of them, but hopefully it's going to go by quick-ish. So what I'm hoping for is, and I should have taken a snapshot of the draw calls before and after generating HLODs. But if you remember, I believe it was somewhere around 5,000 draw calls when we were looking at the map, you know, with the terrain and everything, and the this particular little village level. So so yeah. It could be, Gitish. It could be. I'm no expert at this. This is kind of what worked best for me. So, um, and it, you know, I think it also depends on the way I looked at it was the amount of meshes you have in that one little space. So I've tried with a few different radiuses, and especially for a setup like this, kind of having it in this like 200, 400, 600, and 800 for the LODs. To me, at least, that's what seemed to work best. It you know it's it might vary. You know, your mileage might vary, so to speak. So let's see. It's kind of moving. But and the other thing that I couldn't figure out is if you have a world with like multiple levels, you know, can you do it per level? That's one of the things that I haven't really tried, and I think I'd rather just have it done in each individual level. So, and I think I should not have like the lighting level. Hopefully that's not going to impact this. So there is a tentative release for like a demo, which I'm hoping to do it this winter. And it'd be kind of like you know, a couple of small missions in the beginning, not revealing the entire story, of course, but yeah, I'm hoping for it to have it done sometime this winter. There's gonna be like holidays, Christmas holidays, so that might kind of impact my amount of work, but but yeah, I'm hoping to have some of these things buttoned up, and at least so well, so it's gonna be a level, but the thing with the game is, I wanna make it in like episodes. Um, the demo is gonna be like a, yeah, I would say like a prologue. You know, kind of the start of the game, how you enter the world. You know, with the plane crash sequence and all that, and getting in touch with the friendly NPCs and getting a couple of missions. And you know, a lot of it would be just trying to get people to try it out and report any issues. Oh, hey, Tate Loops, welcome, welcome. and you know, that could give me a lot of input on how things are working, and if people are encountering any trouble, you know, falling through the map at such and such point. But I will definitely try and uh, before making anything like more widely available, I'll reach out to a few of the usual suspects, so to speak, and see if they want to try it out before um, before I actually uh, do a final build of the demo. So that'd be great to have. Mark Hardy, what I've done is I wanted to test and see if I have any issues with the stuff that I've made when transitioning to UE5, and so far I haven't found any. The only thing that I'm still on UE4 is that some of the plugins that I use are not yet released to UE 5.1, so I'm waiting on that, unfortunately. And but the main thing was I wanted to see if you know, the option of opening a copy it, does that work? Because prior to this, like 5.0.1 or like kind of the 5.0 series, I was having some issues with, and with 5.1 it was actually very smooth. I had, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you how everything behaves in there. So but okay, so now that hierarchical LODs have been generated, let me jump back into that one level and see if we get any kind of performance impact. I hope we do. That's the purpose of it. You'll see there's a bunch of these items created. So yeah, Mac Hardy, I hope that that answers your question. Main thing was, let's see, does it even, can I even like transition over to 5.1? And you know, now it's just a matter of waiting for some of the developers. Like I use the dialog plugin. I use like a MetaHuman SDK to generate facial animations based on audio data. um, I use like the MetaHuman, not the MetaHuman, but the Mixamo plugin as well, or yeah, I think we call it a plugin for some of the animations. So those are not yet available for 5.1, but yeah, I'll show you how everything looks in 5.1, because Lumen is actually, I really like it, and it actually looks quite nice. So yeah. Alright, so hopefully this is gonna save here shortly, and we'll see if we got any improvement over the amount of draw calls that this thing was putting out. Oh yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to show, I mentioned it earlier. I think I wasn't sure if there was anybody else besides Gitish on the stream. Is um, showing the credits. So what I worked, one of the things that I worked on this week was creating a credits UI, a credits widget. So that way, at the end of the game, since I use quite a lot of assets from Sketchfab, I can provide a really nice kind of credit to the authors. So I'll show you that here in a little bit. All right, so we're back in the world, and as you can see, before this was like around 5,000, I believe. So now it dropped down by quite a bit, which is what I was hoping for. And so yeah, I think the only problem is I might have an extra sky in this. Let me see. Yeah, I think I might. But yeah, so that's what I do for the for the HLOD. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody. So yeah, I think my problem might be related to the fact that I've added that lighting level to the small village section level. So I think that might be causing a little bit of extra light complexity. So let me show you what I did for the credits, and then we'll jump into a little bit of level design, adding some set dressing inside these houses with some of the assets that I got off of Marketplace, off of Sketchfab. And let me turn on that section where the credits are shown. Yeah, so Mac Hardy, that's the thing exactly. With mine, and I'll show you real quick how it worked, how it ended up. It was actually I was expecting it to be a little bit more painful, but it was really good. Yeah, so in my case, I have quite a few plugins that are not yet updated to 5.1, but I think 5.1 got released like what, a week ago, so it might take a little bit. It's not going to be done right away. All right, so this is what I ended up with for credits, and hopefully so I'll do a tutorial on it. Hopefully people will find it interesting and useful, because I haven't been able to find one. So there it is, and you can pause it at any time, and if you're interested in the asset itself, you can just click on the link and load the asset. So that way you can give proper credits to the author, because these guys are great. Like some of these are really amazing for them to share. So so yeah, then you can press play. You can like scroll through the list if you're interested in something in particular that is like, oh wow, I want to see where that thing came from, or some of that thing came from. So, and the cool thing about this is that and of course you can play it again, that it's completely dynamic. So what I've done is everything in here is loaded via data tables. So the only thing you need to do is so basically what Mac Hardy, what's in here, there's like it's just a vertical box with a bunch of child widgets, which the child widgets has like a title, the author, and then a link to that asset. So you can do whatever you want in here. The main thing with me was that I couldn't find anything like on YouTube or anything like that for a tutorial. A lot of it was not dynamic. You would have to add a bunch of text to a field in the widget. So I didn't really like that. So I ended up making this fully dynamic, so it just loads straight out of a data table, and you can add to that data table some of these details. Like I copied from Sketchfab the corner shower curtain, the name of the asset, then 1-3d.com, which is the author, and then a link to the asset. So yeah, I'm hoping that's gonna be useful for some folks. And yeah, so I'm kind of working on drawing that thing out, and coming with a proper little tutorial for it. Yeah, exactly. So what happens is, I can show you the data table real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, where was that? I think it was called credits. Alright, so let's see, credits list. So it literally looks like this, and you add another row. In this case, the source being Sketchfab, the asset name, the author, and the link, and it just gets added to that list. Whenever you want to place that widget, it just gets added to it. Yeah, so that way you don't have to go into the thing, because a lot of the tutorials that I've seen are I mean, they work, but you have to do extra work every time you add something in there. And so what I was able to look at is everybody has some sort of like a vertical box or something like that, but they just keep adding rows to it. Some of them just have like a text box and they just scroll it through. um, they just scroll through it with an animation, which the animation, if you expand that list, you have to adjust the animation so it scrolls at a specific speed. So um, yeah, I think this, to me, at least from what I was able to check, maybe somebody else already knows about something that might be better, but at least for me, this was something that, it showcases everything that's on there, for like credits. um, you know um, you can pause the list, you can scroll through the list to look at something that you're interested in, you can go to that specific asset, and kind of going by something that somebody gave to you for free, just showing a little bit of appreciation. So that's great. um, yeah, so hopefully this will come in handy for folks. Of course, I didn't put a lot of styling into it, so that's beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So you'd be able to do whatever you want um, to it. But yeah, I think the mechanics of it is hopefully that would prove to be useful to somebody. Okay. Uh, so with that said, that's something that I wanted to show and see. Hopefully there's going to be some interest from folks. But yeah, this is earlier I mentioned a little bit of an issue with some of these assets when it came to the HLODs, and yeah, so as you can see, these particular IVs, not sure what's going on, but they get a little bit kind of aggressive, and it looks like all the vegetation assets are affected by this. Like this little tree here, this is also like part of an HLOD, and I'm not entirely sure why the vegetation gets affected like that. So I might pull out the vegetation from the HLODs and just apply it later. We'll see. Hey Gitish, well, thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great one. All right. I know it's probably getting late, right? So thank you for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one. I'll try and do another one tomorrow. So take care. All right. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to import some of these awesome Sketchfab assets into my world, and populate some of the scenes, especially the interior, because um, there's not a lot of interior assets that might fit a little bit more of like a rundown type of buildings, and uh, kind of these shack type areas. So some of these awesome assets off of Sketchfab are gonna hopefully help. So let's take a look. I actually brought in quite a few. So I'm gonna start with let's see, what do I want to start with? Let's take a look at the dormitory assets. I actually thought I had one of them that I think maybe this one was one of them. Let me quickly open Sketchfab real quick and take a look at the um, and actually now that I have those credits, I can look and like actually find where they live on Sketchfab. Now, I didn't really think of them that they're gonna come in use for, or they're gonna come in handy. Because from this particular author, I have looked at a few of these assets that are really nice looking, and and I think I couldn't remember what the name of it was. I believe I did download. Not this one, but because I was looking for something that's for like kitchen assets. So I kind of thought that I did download this one. Um, and maybe did I not download it? Let's try and get it one more time. Oh yeah, and if you haven't used it yet, the Blend import add-on is awesome. Like you can import blend files directly into Unreal, and I was able to get it to work with skeletons, and it's yeah. If you use Blender, um, try that out. All right, let's see. So that's done. Huh, I guess I must have missed that particular asset. So all right, let's bring a couple of them in, and and see how they look in the world here. I'm gonna add a quick light asset in here just to help with it a little bit better. Alright, so let's start with the kitchen assets, and we'll see how easy this would be. I'm not entirely sure how well it's gonna import with the I believe this is made with a newer version of Blender. So, and yeah, that's the other thing, you need to use Blender 3. It only works with Blender 3 and above to import into with the Blender import plugin. So let's open. There we go. So some really good looking assets, albeit maybe a little bit too high poly. But you know, overall not too bad, because you know you will get to see these up close, and yeah, the only thing that I don't really get is I thought I've set up Blender to work with the Blender 2.79 shortcuts, but maybe not. Well, so the only thing with this is one thing that I haven't really realized is that these are all kind of broken up into little pieces, and I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but let's give it a try. We'll see how this turns out. I haven't tried to import a blend file that has you know, a bunch of separate pieces. I've only done it with, you know, one piece in it. But I'm kind of curious now to see how this is going to behave. So let's take a look. So I'm going to try and import it. Let's see, probably under props, and let's do a kitchen. Alright, let's see how this is going to work. I'm also kind of curious if there's any materials that are going to get created. So yeah, this is kind of, I know there's a lot of assets in there, so I'm not sure if this is gonna, yeah, so that was the one thing that I was, you know, I was kind of expecting it, but it's no biggie, because we can always merge these inside of Blender. But the fact is that everything got imported properly, and yeah, they all look great. So let's take a look in Blender, and I'm gonna start joining some of these meshes together. So for example, like this one with this one with this one, like the entire sink, I'm just gonna put it under one item. Oh, and there's, I guess there's some, there might be um, some modifiers applied to this. So let's apply all these for that. Oops, come on. And apply that, this, join them together, join it with this, oops, this one, join with that, and with the legs. There it goes. I'm hoping that the materials also are on the same texture sheet, but we'll see. I can keep this one separate. Then the pot, this can be separate. These are gonna have to be joined. Oops, and this one I guess had a modifier applied to it. I wish I'm not sure why Control A does not work for this. Let's try it again. Oh, so I have to like hover over this area. Alright, that's good to know. I'm still finding my way around with Blender 3. There's quite a big jump from the 2 series. Oops, and now it doesn't want to do it, so that's interesting. Alright, so let's join these there, there, and there. Alright, so that's another piece. This one can be that and that. This one can be by itself. These ones I'm gonna join the legs together. And that one, that works. Let's apply some of these. And these are going to be separate anyway, so I don't think I need to apply them all. But this one and this one, and then this one, these can be all joined together. Oh, and I actually made a little bit of a mistake here because I forgot these could have an array. There we go. That's another piece. And let's see, do we have, oh, this one can be joined with this one. Ah, and this one also has some kind of modifier applied to it. Alright, I think that covers it a little bit better. And these can be separate, I would think, because you can place them afterwards with a like one of those procedural spawners, so you can just spawn a bunch of them somewhere here and there. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna be oh, this one was part of the portable stove, so I'm just gonna remove it for now. Let's save this. The one thing I'm not entirely sure is how this one is gonna behave, because like all these are kind of disjointed, so I think it's just gonna make a little bit of a mess. So I'm gonna create a separate folder to import this anew. Not sure why it needs to save this again, because it already got saved before. But alright, so let's do it. This is gonna be a kitchen v2, and I'm gonna import that that asset, and hopefully we'll have everything in place as far as, yeah, there you go. We have the sink, we have the table, the little cubby tray, whatever that is, and all these separate little items, which is great. Oh, the one thing I guess I didn't merge was the little tank, but I can take care of that offline. So now let's do the materials, and I'm gonna bring in the textures. Let's create a new folder called textures. And since a lot of them share the same material, it's going to be okay to just keep the material in the one level above. Alright, so there's the textures. Now let's work on these materials. And by default, these are just the standard type of materials, so we can't really use them like that. So I'm gonna have to create them separate. So let's do a material and textures and material instance, and I'm gonna call this mi underscore dishes. And with this one, what I can do is I can set the physics material to I don't even know what to call this one. Maybe concrete or glass. Let's do glass. And then the parent, I'm gonna use my my own little shader that I've created. It gives me quite a bit of options in this one. So we have the base. Let's see, what else does the base have? I guess it has a metallic as well. So let's add the dishes and see how that turns out. So we have base, we have normal, have a roughness, metallic, and AO, and then the metallic here. Alright, so just gonna choose to have a metallic channel, and let's see, it says roughness, that must be red for the roughness, and then the metallic must be green from the looks of it. Alright. Let's see, rough metallic AO. Yeah, that looks about, I think that's about right. Let's take a look. Huh, that's a really flat. I think it might be more in, like, I'm not sure if this is the metallic for it. But let's see how this one works with our dishes. So I think this one, let's see, what does the original developer consider as dishes? So this one has a dish. This one also has a dish material. So I'm gonna bring them over here. I'm gonna be looking at everything that's like a pot or a pan or so I guess this one is also a dish, this one's a dish, this one's a dish. I open that one up. Let's see, what about the kitchen jars? Okay, so that's food packaging, so I'll leave that for next. What else could be a dish? Yeah, those are kitchen assets. Tin can? No, that's food packaging. Okay. Well, so these are going to be it. Let's apply the material, which is the dishes, and see how that looks. Okay, not too shabby. That looks pretty good. dishes for this one. Yeah, there you go, that little cast iron pot. And this one as well. A little bit of a lid. And a plate. Awesome. Alright, so we have a set of them in place. Let's take a look at the next one. So the next one is going to be the food packaging. Now it's going to be a little bit easier because I can just duplicate my material here. So this is going to be food packaging. And I mean, this one, since it's already part of this, I'm going to see if there's anything that I don't already have, because I do have a few food assets to kind of fill the scene. So alright, let's take a look at food packaging and grab the textures. Food packaging, base color, roughness metallic. So that's interesting. It's got a weird little thing here. I'll have to figure some of these textures out. Alright, so now that I have that material created, let's open a bunch of these, because I think there's a ton of them that are gonna be. So we have a lid, we have another lid. Yeah, so I believe with the Blender import add-on, you can definitely get it so that everything works as expected when you import the materials, but then you're gonna have a bunch of kind of master materials for these. So yeah, I'm taking, I think, the little bit of a longer route, but I think it might be a little bit better in the long run. Alright, so let's see, we have another food package. And yeah, if you think about it, this particular asset, there's so many great looking pieces in it that you know, for free, you can't beat it. Okay, well, we have quite a bunch of them, so I'm gonna start applying some of these materials to it. So there's food packaging for this one. So yeah, as you can see, the metallic doesn't come through as I would have expected it to. So I'm gonna try and change them up a little bit. There we go. That's much better. I think it's even though it's listed in the texture as rough metallic AO opacity, I think it's kind of flipped a little bit, so I think that looks quite a bit better. Alright, so now let's take a look at the next can of food. And another one. Smoked sprats. They're all the same. Interesting. I guess they've just rotated a little bit. Not sure why I ended up with so many of these cans that are identical, but guess we can do a little bit of a cleanup at one point. And there you go. I think that works a little bit better for the channels of roughness and metallic for this particular asset pack. And I guess I have too many cans. Huh. Not sure how I ended up with that many, but it was the same. I didn't realize. I think it must have been the same asset in here, and I've imported it multiple times, so my bad. Okay, well, in the meantime, I'll just set them all to be the same thing. Alright, so then this one, look at that, that looks amazing. And again, it's the same one. Oh no, actually no, it's a different one. That's cool. Got some flour. That's a really nice looking one. And some cereal. Some chips. I think these are the same chips. Or no, they're different. Wow, that's awesome. And some ketchup. There it is. That's actually quite awesome. There's like so many assets in a free pack, and this is not the only one that this particular developer has. So yeah, check it out. All right, let's take a look. We have a few of the ones that I'm gonna try and close some of these because there's a ton of them. All right, let's take a look at the table. I'm not entirely sure which one this one would be. Kitchen pot table. There it is. So that solves it. Table. And let's apply the textures to this one as well. So that's the rack. And let's see which ones. I thought I saw a table. I'm wondering if it's the same one. Let's try it. And I think I might have messed this one up a little bit. I hope not. Yeah, look at that. That's actually a really nice looking table. Cool. And let's see. This one I think might have worked on this as well. It's using the same material. Sweet. That looks nice. And I think the kitchen sink has different set of textures. Whoops. And it looks, yeah, the sink might just have something different. So let's duplicate this. And this is going to be the sink. And base, normal, roughed as metallic NaO. There we go. It's a little strong. I might tone it down a little bit. So there it goes. That's a really nice looking asset. Alright, and I think last but not least is going to be the oh, I missed a couple of them, like these particular ones. I can't remember. I'm not sure which one these are. They're food packaging. Okay, so that's going to be pretty easy to do. Nice. And the soap. Cool. And a lid. I forgot about the lid. Look at that. That's awesome. It's not too dingy, it's not too new. It's right in that sweet spot of, you know, daily usage type of place. Okay, and I think the one last piece is going to be this this tank. and this one is a separate set of textures. And while I might not end up using this tank, because I have a few other ones that I'm using throughout, I just wanted to have it set up with a with the material. So there's the gas canister, normal. Alright, and let's open this up. And whoopsie, I did a boo-boo. I forgot to duplicate it. Alright, there it is. So now let's apply the textures. Base, normal, metallic. I mean, these are the same one. And that. And there we go. Nice one looking. So I'm going to drag a couple of these in here just to see how they look, how they feel. And then we can jump and check out Unreal 5.1 and see how that turned out for this particular project, and you know, how it looks as far as navigating the level, you know, equipping some of the weapons, shooting some of them, just for reference. So one thing that I can't say that I'm really happy with is, and I believe these would need to be fixed inside Blender, is like this particular asset, like when I joined it, and again, I'm pretty new with Blender 3, but I can't really see where the where the pivot point is at, because if you look in the engine, it's way over here. So I think you need to reposition them a little bit before exporting the blend file. But yeah, this actually worked out quite nice. I'm really happy with yeah. See, like the waypoint is all the way down there. I guess you could, one thing that you can do is join everything together and into one kitchen mesh, but I'm not sure if you might want to have some variety across some of these things. So yeah, and see, this is you know, having that pivot point all the way at the bottom, it makes it pretty hard to place these with a like a procedural placement tool and just place them across the surface here. So for example, I want to use a let's grab that in. What was it? I think it was at least it was called tool or not. At least maybe procedural. I can't remember what the name of it was. I always seem to forget what this random, was it random? Oh yeah, random foliage spawner. Okay. So with something like this, you'd be able to place a bunch of these really easily. Like for example, just place them on the table. And I'm going to use some of the ones that I already have and are working like they have the proper pivot points. That's important to have. let's see, where do we have some like little trash and random stuff. Yeah, I guess one of these could be this. I'll just put some trash around here. Maybe like a cigarette box. Just some litter. Alright, so there you go. You get a result like this. And of course, you know, maybe a little bit less. That's too many. And there's your placement. So with something like this, you can just, you know, set dress your scene pretty easily. You know, kind of like that. I wished I could have used all these, you know, the food little packaging pieces, but yeah, I need to see how I can adjust their pivot points. They look great in here, but and I think there's like there's a way. See, like the pivot point is all the way down here. I believe there's a way to do it in here, but I've never really tried to see if I can adjust the pivot point right in the engine. So I'll take a look and see after the stream if that's possible. Alright, let me close because these are kind of bogging down my computer. Okay, well, so that's a little bit of importing one of the credited Sketchfab assets, which actually turned out quite nice, especially, you know, using the little Blender add-on. I didn't have to export each one of the FBX individually, so that was quite a lot of help. All right, let's take a look at 5.1, and I'll show you what I ended up with on that end. Let me close this. And come on, Epic Games Launcher, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, so what I was really surprised with was I was expecting it to have to compile a ton of shaders, but there were probably like 5,000 shaders that I needed to compile, which I was thinking, you know, considering the size of my project, that it's going to be maybe in like the 25,000 range, but it wasn't. So that was great. The main thing is that I was able to move this over, of course, um, without having the plugins that I need, without any headaches. So yeah, I'll show you what I ended up with and how Lumen looks, especially for like some of these interiors, because that one was one of the things that I was really looking forward towards. So let's see. Okay, yeah. There's still, I literally done it yesterday, so I haven't gotten around to um, do any cleanup of you know, issues like this. Alright, so let's load my level. The one thing that is actually quite impressive is like the quality of the vegetation, and even though I don't have anything that was set up for nanite, so I was really surprised by that. And yeah, I was expecting a lot more errors with my blueprints, but I haven't run into any of them that are like game breaking or anything. So So yeah, that was a good thing to happen. But yeah, so there we go. This is how things look. And of course, the HLOT clusters need to be rebuilt because of that level that I had. But and right now this is on Epic, so it's a little bit bogging down my computer. So I'm gonna step it just back down to high. So yeah, I think I've tried to enable a few other settings that you know brought down the performance a little bit. Right now it's not, and you know with Lumen enabled, there's still let's see, it's not as performing. You know, like right now it's at 35, 35, 36. So let's jump into game mode real quick. There's I guess there's a few, but these are not. Besides this one, the issues I believe are due to the dialog plugging not being updated, or this engine not having that one installed. So these are all relying on that, and that's that's where that issue is. You want to prove me wrong? Why is it dropping to like 3 frames per second? Yeah, there's a couple of shaders to compile. And there you go. I mean, it's back to around 40, and this is with Lumen. So as you can see, um, like how dark the interior is. Probably a little too dark. I might need to adjust the skylight a little bit, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of the whole point. You don't have to worry about interiors as much anymore, and and it still performs surprisingly good. And I definitely, there's a few other things that I haven't done that I need um, to also enable for this particular level that I have done in the other one. Hey Youngji, thank you so much. Well, so I am working on this by myself, but I do use a lot of stuff from the, and I mean a lot of stuff from the marketplace, right? Um, a lot of the blueprints and all that are developed by myself. There's some like little mechanics that I have implemented from the marketplace into mine, like you know, lock picking and some of these smaller things. But everything else is I worked on myself. The level is actually from the Nordic conifer biome, and I've just made some tweaks, you know, to adjust for the placement of my sub levels, you know, like so. And you know, stuff like this is like I've implemented this part here. Um, oh, and I'm missing a font, so that's why you can't really see where the um, any number on that widget. So I need to import that as well. But um, but yeah, and of course you can fire it and you can kill enemies with it. I think I might have a couple of issues from transitioning over here to with the enemies. So and of course, you know, there's like a regular the torch needs to be fixed as well because there's like two of them spawning for whatever reason. Oh, actually, that reminds me. This one has a light on it, so I forgot. I could have used it to see how it looks inside the house. Let's take a look. And yeah, thank you so much for stopping by the stream, Youngji. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Let's see. Does that work? Yeah, there we go. So that's actually really nice um, to have that dark interior. Whoa, what the heck just happened? Huh. Guess I must have hit the door with the thing and then the door got pissed. I'm guessing. And oh, yeah, there's the binoculars. I'm still working on the binoculars to get that implemented. I've actually just one of the things I don't really know if it yeah, I think this was one of the issues since this particular thing is a swimmable area. That's one of the other things, Young G, if you're interested. I might look into creating a tutorial for swimming because I couldn't find anything that was um, to my liking, so I ended up just working on creating swimming by myself, um, and they turned out a little bit better than what I was able to find as for tutorials. So, so I might have a couple of ideas for tutorials coming up. We'll see how much time I can get, but yeah, you can also swim, so it'd be good approaches for like like an enemy and stuff like that. Let me see if I can actually put an enemy in here. I haven't tried that. This is this is totally new to me as well. I literally just try to take a cool photo of the environment to see how it looks. But let's see if not sure if this is like the enemy is affected by a by some of those errors. So let's see. I thought this one was an enemy. Oh, I had a couple of enemy spawners. So let's see. Why were they just sitting around there? So I'm gonna try and use the bow. Oh, there he is. And I think the other one might have not spawned because it was like stuck in this little ledge here. I guess that was the only guy. It should have spawned, I thought. Oh yeah, but I can't even select the author because of this little piece. The spawner. So let me try and get another one in here, and maybe we can do a couple of these. Take down a couple of these enemies. And I'll try to switch the time of day around a little bit, kind of just rotating the sky to see how that looks. Oh, I actually haven't tried the doors. Oh nice, everything works. The one thing I don't know is if this window has collisions. Oh, I guess it does. Huh. I was trying to shoot through the window, but let's see. Can we see where the... I can't tell where the door is, so... Alright, so the bow does what it's expected of it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's take a look if I adjust this a little bit, like the time of day, to see if we can get some more kind of lighting angles and play around with it a little bit. Hey, Blue Leo, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, so that's what I mean. This is a project that's entirely migrated from 4.27 to 5. So everything in here is not assets that were made for 5.1 and imported or like loaded into the project. So I'm surprised that everything got came through in this condition, like there's no issues with them, like from besides this besides the water here, which I think it might be due to the shader, like that SM5 versus SM6. That's the difference between the engines. I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright. I was just showing off a little bit of this this project of mine that I've migrated to Unreal Engine 5, just showing it around a little bit um, to people. So yeah, one of the things that I wanted to try here is kind of enter the house and letting the light come through the window, oh, not the window, but the door, and see how that looks. Yeah, it definitely changed, but what I'm hoping for, it's always, oops, what am I doing on top of the roof? Oh, I guess you can, yeah, you can climb, so that's good. And the rock is kind of in the way there, but alright, let's see how this looks. Yeah, that's pretty nice, you know, getting all that bounce light around. I mean, it could be increased a little bit, so let me see if I step back so the door closes. Come on, just close already. Yeah, so you don't get that lighting around the um, yeah, there you go. Wow, that actually is pretty nice. I'm really happy with. I can't wait for some of the other plugins to be moved, transitioned to Unreal 5, so I can like completely move to Unreal 5, because this is pretty cool. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So you're trying to make a game or a game engine? Because I mean, it's or are you trying to do both? And a little bit of like a stealth type of action there. Let's see. Does the new pistol still work? Oh, that works too. Nice. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I actually know somebody else that was doing the same thing. You know, trying to do both the working on a game and doing the building the game engine at the same time. So that's cool. All right, so let me play a little bit with. I want to see if I can increase some of the bounce lighting around here, because this is actually so cool. Okay, let's see. What I wanted to take a look at is I don't have. I guess we could try adding a separate post-process volume to the interior of this to so we don't affect any of the exterior stuff. And maybe we can try and bump up the dynamic indirect lighting that comes in here. So this is like excuse me. Um, this is a action adventure first-person shooter game, and it's so what happens is you start the game in a pretty kind of probably overused at this point fashion. You know, it's kind of through a plane crash. But what I'm doing with the plane crash is you can crash in different locations in the world. So depending on the location you crash into, you start off with different. You're gonna get different missions. So um, you're gonna eventually reach this NPC group that is kind of hiding in this bunker, and through through them you're gonna start learning what happened in the world, and why you're there. So so basically that's what the game is about. And yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. Okay, so let's play around with this a little bit. So it's going to be out on PC at first, of course, because you know I'm just one guy working on it, and I um I hope to have a demo out this winter. So basically, just one of the crash locations with a couple of the initial missions that you're gonna get. That is my goal at the moment, and you know, hopefully people like it, and that will give me the boost needed to continue working on it, which I think I'm gonna do either way. But um, yeah, so I'm hoping it might be a little bit more time until like an actual full release of the game. I intend on doing the way I've kind of scripted it is this would be kind of an episode one, and then there would be a follow up. So, hey Perete, welcome. Hello, how are you? Oh, welcome, welcome. So the game is I was telling Blue Leo, it's a oh, so the name of it is just like the title of the stream, on your own, because I work on it on my own. So and in the game you're gonna be on your own, right? So that's yeah, there was an that was my first thought, so I went with it. So Peretta, the game is a single person adventure action adventure type game, and you start the game. Oh, thank you, Blue Leo. Like I said, you know, on retrospect, it's one of those. I could have come up with something better. Come on, just like that didn't put any effort into it, but I guess sometimes that works. So Prete, like I said, it's a single person action adventure game. You start the game by a plane crash, and you can crash in three different locations. At least that's what the final result I hope to have. And depending on the location you crash, the initial missions at the beginning of the game are going to be a little bit different. And you're going to meet a group of survivors, a group of NPCs that are hiding in this bunker, and throughout the world that you will interact with, and through the missions that you're going to get, you're going to learn more about what had happened in the world, um, and you know, kind of learn the story that way. So hopefully that makes sense. That gives you a little bit of explanation. So I've been using Unreal for, let's see, 2022, 4 years. So I would say four and a half. So about March, um, 2018. I've moved to Unreal from CryEngine, which I used before this. So yeah. And Blue Leo, I actually haven't. What what is that? I mean, I know Pokemon cards, but huh? How can we increase the let's see, priority. Young G, this is 5.1 um, right now, and I haven't tried to build a project in 5.1 just yet because a lot of the plugins have not been released for 5.1. But I think 5.1 is a stable release, at least from Epic. So, um, and I am definitely liking Lumen. I have to say, it's actually I was expecting a much bigger impact on performance, but with 5.1, I'm really digging this. Like, well, thank you, Blue Leo, thank you for the sub. Hopefully, if you go through some of the tutorials, you'll find something that you like. Yeah, so being able to do this is pretty awesome. You know, like I've seen some of the videos, but I was never able to try it out. Like I've tried it a couple of times, but it never really looked right. And I honestly did not expect it to work this way or this good from a project that I migrated from 4.27 to 5.1. So that was I was really happy with that, you know. So Youngji, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it's a it's only gonna get better from here the way I see it. So what's your setup? What's your computer like? What do you have for a computer, for a rig? Yeah, so that's pretty nice to have in there, like with these. Okay, so I'm not sure about. I don't can't tell how good the Radeon 5700 XT is. Yeah, it might make sense. Like what I'm running right now is a 1070. Maybe like a 5-year-old 1070. So Peretti, I do not have any published game. This is like a hobby to me. It's I have a regular day job. You gotta adult and pay for bills and that kind of stuff. But um, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to publish this one, and hopefully it would become like a full-time thing. That would be the goal. but um, but yeah, in the meantime, you have to work for folks, for people. All right, so let's see. But it's all good, I'm not complaining. I'm uh, I'm really happy with my work. Well, hello there. There we go. This is a nice looking interior. Very cool. Let's see if we can apply the same settings over here. Oh, and I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing anything of what I was just doing. Just in case anybody's interested in some of the changes that I'm making to the post-process volume. So what I did is inside of you have the house, and So the whole thing, like this blueprint that I have for the sky has its own post-process volume, so you can control stuff outside, right? Now inside I have another post-process volume here, because right now it's a little dark, right? So I want to be able to control this a little bit better. And so what I did is I was playing around with the minimum brightness and maximum brightness. Right now it's maybe a little strong, but I think I was having it to like a 0.2, and maybe I think a 1 should just be fine. Then you can increase this one doesn't really do anything when you have these adjusting, so um, I guess that didn't really do much change. But at this point in here, one thing that I was hoping for is adjusting the dynamic, actually let's see, the indirect lighting intensity, but this doesn't really do much, so it's a little bit I'm not sure if that's the intent, but I'm still experimenting with Lumen and all that. But having this kind of lighting up like so, excuse me, it actually works out pretty nice. So let's try, and I want to like spin this around a little bit and see what happens when the light falls on this end over here, if that's gonna get adjusted in any way. Yeah, there you go. So that's pretty nice. I'm quite happy with how that behaves for like interiors, right? And the frame rate is actually, I'm really happy with how the frame rate is. Right, so you get this kind of lighting. There's a little bit of light coming from this, like an indirect type thing, and then a little bit more of the bounce light from the sun. And with the sun, I can always bump up the amount of indirect light that it's casting. So let's see if I can adjust some of that a little bit. For the directional light, maybe that's a little bit too much. I'm just adjusting the indirect lighting intensity, and so right now it's at 20 and 10. I think once you get once you bump up that up a little bit too much, like this is what I have, so for the indirect lighting intensity and the directional light. So I think bumping that up a little too much might just introduce some artifacts. Like I think should be able. Maybe I can show you. Let's see if. So right now it's at 10. I'm guessing it's not too terrible, but I think I've seen them on like some surfaces. Yeah, like you might run into this. Yeah, I mean it's not bad. It actually looks pretty good, even if you bump it up a little higher. But just keep in mind, don't go too crazy with it. So there you go. That's awesome to have with Unreal Engine 5, and in here as well. That one looks pretty slick. And let's see if I close the door. I actually haven't tried closing the door after I've updating these settings. Well, I mean, kind of slide the door closed. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, what can I say? I am really happy with Unreal Engine 5 so far. I'll have to wait until the other developers are making the change, pushing their plugins over to 5.1. and hopefully that'll happen shortly. I've seen at least one of them that was commenting that they're working on it. So yeah, I'm hoping within the next few weeks to that they would have that on um, 5.1. So I think that's going to be it for me for today. I'm getting a little hungry and I'd like to have something for lunch. So I'll definitely have another stream tomorrow. And yeah, Youngji, you're definitely right. It's pretty crazy. I'm really like the performers was something of concern. So I'm really happy how it works. Yeah, one of the things that I think for some of the people that have just joined, as far as a an upcoming tutorial, since I do some tutorials do I do tutorials every now and again. Um, it's one of the things that I wanted to show is um, a way to, and hopefully this works in here. I haven't actually tried it. A way to give credits. So give credits to assets that you get off Sketchfab mainly, because I use a lot of assets from Sketchfab. So this is what I ended up with. You know, there's like a scroll box, and these are all loaded dynamically out of a data table. So you can add the more you the more things you have, you can add them to the data table, and this would be loaded dynamically. You know, you can pause it, you can scroll through it if you want to. You can click on the link to actually go to that asset. So in this case, for somebody that has been on the stream for a little bit longer, you know, like this set of kitchen assets that I've been using. So I'm planning on doing a tutorial on that, so hopefully some other folks might have use for it. So that way you don't have to like just manually go into the widget and add stuff to it and then compile it and add some more stuff and adjust the speed of the animation like I've seen in some other tutorials. So hopefully this will come in handy. But yeah, that's hopefully will happen next week or within the next couple of weeks. Alright, yeah, so thank you everybody for stopping by. I'm a little bit out of breath as well. And I hope to see you tomorrow. I'll try and do another stream around the same time, you know, kind of around 11 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully that way I'll hit, you know, kind of everybody around the world, depending on where you're at. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by, friends, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see some of you tomorrow. And nice to meet you, Yonji. Sounds great. Hopefully, I'll see you on the next one. And YouTube saves the live streams, so I don't have to worry about like Twitch. They would delete it after a while. And with YouTube, you can see everything from back in like the CryEngine days. All right. Thanks everybody. Y'all take care. All right. Take care. Bye.